Welcome back. This is take 2 for today's video. I tried doing a video in the morning on my usual walk, and yeah, let's just say I vented a little bit. I went off the rails a bit. I got very angry in that video, mainly because of what happened yesterday, but also just a few other things. And yeah, I just got very frustrated with my current situation. And then afterwards I listened to it back, because most of the time I do listen to these videos back before I post it. And yeah, I decided, no, I'm not posting this. That's just, I went into some personal things in that video which I'm like, no, that's not a good idea to share in hindsight. I mean, as raw and authentic as I am on this channel, there's certain things, of course, I don't want to share, particularly around work, family, relationships, just a combination of things which have been getting to me recently. But I had to really pull myself up by my bootstraps today and have a good talk to myself. Sometimes, like, you do need to have these talks with yourself where you just talk yourself through your current situation, what you're currently in, like it's what situation you're currently in, and then yeah, you might be able to see things clearer. Like I find, yeah, getting outdoors, getting some fresh air really helps. This morning I chopped a bunch of wood. That helps a lot. That helped a lot to just release some of that frustration. Just chopping wood, do something physical, that helps. So yeah, overall I'm feeling a lot better now. I just have this lingering anxiety at the moment. It comes this periodically, occasionally I'll have these times where suddenly I have this sense of just anxiety. Like, I used to have really bad anxiety for many things, especially social anxiety, but also just generalized anxiety. And over time, the social anxiety has gone away, pretty much for the most part. I mean, I'll still have interactions where I really feel awkward, but for the most part, like, I have no challenge anymore just being in social settings. Like, yeah, I'm an introvert, yeah, I need my alone space, but if I have to go be with people and go to a social event or whatever, that's fine. I've done it a few times now. I've been to more social settings. I've been to pubs quite a few times without drinking and just having meals, stuff like that. And just, I don't know, I'm just better at small talk now. Like I said a few times, I've been periodically going back and listening to all my old videos from like 3-4 years ago that I still have archived, and yeah, it's really interesting to see how I've changed over that time. So anyway, let's just get into this. I will say a little bit what happened yesterday. Long story short, there was a situation at work yesterday that really frustrated me. At my current workplace, there's been a few things that have really irritated me over time. But of course, like, it happens once, it happens twice. It's like, yeah, just brush it off. But it happens again and again. Then you start to notice patterns. And yeah, yesterday was really the final straw, especially given that I am currently looking for ways to move on. Yeah, move on. Like I said, I have the potential opportunity in Toowoomba. I have an interview next week. That's coming up. At the same time, I'm still looking at other options as well. But really, I'm in a good position. Like, I had to have a good talk with myself today and say, mate, just stay calm, be patient. You're in a really good position. Don't self-sabotage now, because I've had this tendency in the past of, especially during these periods of change where it's like I'm on the cusp of something big, like a breakthrough, or a win, anything like that, like achieving something. In the past, oftentimes that's been the biggest danger zone for me, when I've tended to self-sabotage. And yeah, in the past that would be going back to addictive behaviors of PMO, all that, which it's no longer the case now. I still struggle with smartphone use, all that. Not really social media too much anymore. I've managed to put a cap on that. But yeah, just browsing, searching up things, like, it's pretty tough with a smartphone, right? It's a big source of distraction, but I'm working on it. I've gotten new creative ways to lower my screen time, reduce my usage. So yeah, anyway, like I said, I'll update you in a few weeks on that. Like, I really did want to use a dumb phone, but yeah, for some reason it's not letting me hotspot anymore. At the moment I rely on hotspotting for internet, so that idea's out of the window, unfortunately. So I have to use this phone the moment, just for hotspotting, because that's my only source of internet. I have Starlink dish as well, which I don't have a subscription for that at the moment. I'm just using hotspot because it's the speed's improved a lot, and yeah, it's a lot cheaper than Starlink. So yeah, save a bit there. Anyway, that was just a frustrating situation yesterday. I'll share a little bit. So first of all, this is not just me that's frustrated. Quite a few of us, my co-workers as well, frustrated because, our manager, our boss, he's on holiday this whole week, and he didn't let anyone know. Yeah, he didn't let anyone know, because he's manager of our department, right? It's a larger business as other departments, but yeah, all the other managers and all that knew, but of course, because they have their staff meetings, all that, and that was all organized. But yeah, he runs this department that I'm a part of, and he didn't directly let any of us know that, oh yeah, hey, I'm going on holiday next week. He didn't last week, I was there, all of that, last week, Friday and all that, and he didn't let any of us know that was on. Oh yeah, I'm not going to be there, because yeah, we have our set times to start in the morning, and so usually what happens is he comes in half an hour early, opens everything up, opens the shop, everything like that, and then anyone else who's on, some of us are on some days and not the other days, so on, but usually there's always two or three of us that are not working full time, that are rostered on any specific day, so that basically everything runs smoothly. We have our role, and then he's always there. He's the manager, of course. He makes sure everything runs smoothly as it goes, right? But he didn't let any of us know that he's not going to be here this week. So yeah, usually he's gone away before, of course. Anyway, everyone needs a break. Everyone needs holidays, of course, especially managers running a business. Of course, you all need leave. No problem. But it's happened before where there's been lack of communication, and he hasn't told us directly, hey, this is what's happening, about any changes. And I know, especially with myself and this other co-worker, he just for whatever reason, he doesn't seem to trust us, maybe, I don't know, and he just doesn't tell us anything. So often I'll just hear news and stuff of what's going on, any changes, because there's been some big changes in the last few weeks. I've only heard it through secondhand. He's never actually told me directly, even stuff pertaining to my role. And I've done a very good job. I know that. I've got good feedback from customers about the jobs that I've done. I've done a great job overall. Sure, I make mistakes like anyone does, especially when I first started. I made a few mistakes, but for the most part, I do my job to a really good standard. I do my best every day, and even on days when I don't feel it, I always will do my job to a good standard. And yeah, I've gotten some really good feedback over time, which, he's heard, of course. He's heard all that from customers. Hey, I've done a good job. The work email, occasionally there's been emails coming in saying, hey, Johan's done a really good job. Myself and another co-worker who's our roles overlap a little bit, so sometimes I'll do a bit of their stuff and then my stuff when I'm away, a bit of overlap there, right? And yeah, anyway, I'm the second newest person at this place. The other worker, where there's a bit of overlap, basically they joined, and they pretty much take over my role when I'm gone, and yeah, vice versa, a bit of overlap, like I said. And yeah, last week I did this job, and I had to go and install some stuff. I'm not going into details, of course. I don't want to say what I'm doing and where I work, of course, all that. I don't do that in these videos. But yeah, anyway, I had to go install some stuff, some equipment, and yeah, anyway, did that, and yeah, told the customer, showed them how everything worked on a basic level. There were a bit of I did the install as I usually do, and yeah. They of course needed to be shown how it all worked, and yeah, I did that. But there was an elderly couple, and they were having a bit of trouble, grasping it. So I just gave them a basic explanation, basic overview of all the basic features, right? I didn't go into any of the advanced stuff. Okay, this is all the basic stuff. This is how it works, and then I just gave them the work phone number. Usually myself, on days when I work, I'll have that phone on me. If I'm not there, someone else will have the phone on them. So yeah, I gave them the work phone number, so that if you need any other help or anything clarified, just call this number, and yeah, one of us will be there to assist. can always drop in, because the job I do, it's oftentimes go on site, call in, all that, and I do it part-time at the moment. And yeah, it's like I've thought about taking it further and doing stuff full-time with it, but yeah, definitely not at the place I'm currently working, because there's certain ways, like managerial problems, structural issues, the way things are organized. Well, it's not organized. It's really not organized, and there's no proper communication. I know, especially with me. So, anyway, I did that last week, and yeah, anyway, on a day that I'm not there, like the manager, the phone is right there. That work phone, it gets a call, of course, and yeah, they want some help. They want some help. Changing some of the settings on all that stuff, and yeah, basically, my manager didn't even tell me anything about that. And then he basically just tells my other coworker that does occasionally takes over my role. He's like, oh yeah, next week go to this place and explain to these people how it works. It's like, why didn't he just tell me? Like, I went there, I installed that, I'm familiar with that site. Why didn't he just tell me? They called in. Can you go there? Like, did you could have just asked me, like, oh yeah, did you show them properly, how all that stuff works? Because, like, usually depends on the person, of course. Like, some people, I'll explain everything and they'll understand straight away, like, okay, this is how it all works, blah, blah, blah. But some people, like the people I installed that stuff for, they were having a bit of trouble understanding it. So I gave it a bit of a basic overview, right? And then basically, because they didn't know how to do a certain thing that they wanted to do, which is quite an advanced feature, not a lot of people don't even want to use that. Because they didn't know how to do that, my manager, he basically assumed that, I didn't show them properly how to use it, even though I gave them a basic demonstration, a basic overview, and I could see that they were having trouble understanding. So I went slow, I told them a basic overview of how this stuff works, and yeah, I said, okay, there's more advanced features, but if you need any other, if you want to learn how to do that stuff, or you need any extra help, just let me know. Call this number, right? So I told them that. And yeah, they were happy with that. They didn't want to be showing everything at once. Older people sometimes, they need to be, just showing a bit slower. Of course, that's fine. It was a new system. They weren't familiar with it. Fine, no issue. But first of all, that irritated me. That manager that assumed that, I didn't show them how to do it properly, even though, like, why doesn't he just ask me and tell them, they called in, then I can explain everything. So he never, like, asks for clarification. He always assumes all these things. And that's happened a few times now, and then never communicates to me directly if anything goes wrong. And then oftentimes we just talk to other staff members about stuff that I've done, and then just, like, I heard it through my coworker, he told me to go to this place and explain to them. And then I was just confused, like, why is he telling them? Like, they had nothing to do with that. Like, that was my job, right? It was my role, right? And yeah, anyway, so they're going in. Today's my rostered day off. So anyway, today they're meant to go in and explain how it all works, because they've been shown, my other coworker, they know how it all works well now. So that just is really irritating to me. So first of all, he doesn't call any of us, tell any of us that he's not going to be here this week. Like, it's on. There's one whiteboard in the corner where it shows everyone who's taken holiday, of course. Then usually I might say organize some time off from holiday. First of all, I'll just tell my boss to hey, during this time, I'd like to take some leave. I'm planning to go on a trip or whatever. I've always done that, like, months in advance, like Sri Lanka trip, half a year in advance, New Zealand trip, almost half a year in advance. I did that. I've always given good notice for when I'm going to go on leave, all that. There's been a few occasions where he's like, could you do it another time, or maybe not this time? Sure, no worries. Most of the time it's all gone without a hitch, no issue. Yep, I'll book in leave for this time. And of course, we all need time off, all that. So if my manager wants us to go on leave, no problem. But yeah, he doesn't tell any of us. And like, I remember I looked at that board on Friday. There was no leave booked for this week, right? Anyway, on top of all that, there's another coworker who is a senior, more experienced member of the team. He's been sick for the last week, like really sick. So yeah, we're one team member down. So that's another issue now. So at the moment this week, that person's down for the count, and without telling any of us directly, like, boss is gone as well. He's on holiday for this week. And all of a sudden, like, I looked yesterday when we came in, and he wasn't there. It's like, what the heck? There's something. He's on the board that he's on leave. It's like, I mean, we're all expected to give good notice when we're going on holiday, like, at least, like, at least like 2 weeks in advance usually, because that's how the rostering really goes. And then all of a sudden, like, he's on holiday. Like, what? So yeah, that pisses me off. The lack of communication pisses me off, and the lack of trust really pisses me off. Like, because there's a clear lack of trust there. Like, just communicate properly. Like, if you're not happy with something that I've done or haven't done, like, just tell me directly. And yeah. So anyway, that's why I was pissed off. Rightly so. Very rightly so. And these things have happened a few times at this place. So there's a few red flags, of course. And yeah, I'm not going to say more on that. I think I've said already enough. Bit calmer than this morning. I was really upset this morning, honestly. But anyway, look, I have hope, because I'm very confident that very soon I will be able to move on from this place. You see, before this job, I was working dairy for 3 years and some other odd farm jobs, and that was really after moving out here. Like, it was this first job after moving, and it was a chaotic time, end of COVID, and as well, of course, being in a regional area, new to this area, I was just looking for any sort of work, so I started off with farm work. And then the job that I'm currently at now, it's better paid than, of course, the farm job. And it was part-time. So good to do while studying. Of course, I was looking for a part-time job while I finished my studies, of course. And it was good. It was a good stepping stone, right? It looked promising. Initially, it looked actually very promising to advance beyond that. But since then, there's been a few promises made that really haven't been kept. Fortunately, now it's at the point where there's really no more room for growth at this place. And like I said, I've become aware of some glaring issues at the workplace that is like, yeah, man, this is ridiculous. This is really ridiculous. I won't go into any more specific details on that. Should I post this video even? Yeah, I think I will post this. I think I have to post this one. It's better than this morning. This morning was just a shit show. But yeah, anyway. My work the last week has been a shit show, of course, with a colleague being sick, and now this week, like, my boss not telling any of us that he's going to be on holiday for the week, and oh man, it's been a mess. It's been an absolute shit show. So yeah, I've got to go in again tomorrow, and oh boy, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, but anyway, look, I'm in a much better position now, because of course, now I have options. That's the good thing. Now, unlike when I started, this was my only option to get out of the farm work, right? And nothing against farm work. Like, I enjoyed it while it lasted. But of course, I don't want to do that my whole life. So yeah, this was my only option to get out of the farm work. But yeah, now I have options, which is good. And by the sound of it, some promising options. Like I said, I'll update you when I get an outcome on not all this stuff. But yeah, this is ridiculous. This is honestly ridiculous. Like, how can a manager not communicate to his employees properly? Like, if there's a problem, just say it directly. Don't go in this passive aggressive mode. I've noticed that a few times. Like, he goes in this like passive aggressive mode where he just, like, you can tell he's irritated, but he just doesn't say anything. If there's a problem, he'll never say it to the person involved directly. He'll, like, say it to someone else or expect you to just pick it up. And it's like, look, I'm a pretty simple guy. Like, if someone tells me, okay, there's a problem with this, like, okay, sure, what's the big deal? How can we solve it? Like, I'm pretty logical in that sense. Like, if there's a problem, my first instinct is, okay, how do we solve this? Yeah, it's like, I don't know, but some people think so complicated and just they're not direct in how they communicate and all that. And look, I'll admit, I'm not always the best communicator. Sometimes I can get stuck in my head a bit, and it's like hard for me to express myself, certain ideas. But I know I've gotten a lot better with communicating over the years, become a lot clearer with communication. So I know I've improved a lot in that regards. And look, of course, none of us is perfect. We all have our faults. But I mean, come on, as a manager of a business, you've got to communicate things better. And yeah, like you can't expect, like, okay, and we all have our roles, right? We've got to do our job to the best of our abilities. Like, there's expectations, of course, but you can't just not say something and then expect other people just to pick up on things. Like, especially with running a business, there needs to be clear guidelines and clear communication. But on certain things, like I've just been, not just me, but on certain things, like we've just been left to our own devices, like to figure out things on our own. There hasn't been proper communication, and as a result, there's some real problems. There's real problems around the workplace that I've noticed. Glaring issues that have only become worse, unfortunately, over time. So, okay, that's my frustration at the moment with what's going on. Like I said, I'm optimistic that I'll find something better soon, and then I'll be able to move on. So, yeah, timing couldn't be more perfect than that. So, yeah, that's really about it for this video. Oh, man, it's like, I don't know. To me, it sort of feels like the manager, like, it sort of feels like he's given up. That's how it feels like to me, honestly. Speaking honestly, it sort of feels like he's given up. And like he's closing in on retirement age. So it sort of feels like, he's given up. And he's just waiting for retirement, which, look, when you're at that age and you've worked your whole life at something, like, I can't blame anyone for wanting to retire and move on. But I don't know, the problem these days seems to be that these sort of people they cling on and they don't move on and don't let room for anyone else. I have to say it. That's the problem with in corporations. That's the problem with boomers. A lot of boomers don't want to retire, don't want to move on. They're clinging on for dear life, and they don't make room for us younger folk to move in. And then as a result, organizations become rigid, top heavy, all this bureaucracy, and then actual change that we need never happens. Similar thing in politics, of course. I'm not saying that it's all the boomers' fault and young people are so much better. Like us young folk, millennials are getting older now as well. Millennials, Gen Z, which is my generation, and all that. We are Gen Alpha. We've got big glaring issues as well, no doubt. But yeah, man, there's so much I could say about boomers. And of course, look, I'm not trying to put entire generations into one bucket, but yeah, you can observe patterns. Like there's the boomers, man, boomers. Oh man, so yeah, look, that's what it seems like to me. He's given up and he's just waiting to retire. And look, that's fine, you want to retire, but then you've got to make that intention like clear and like, okay, then you need to make room and you need to like plan things and like make room for someone else to take over your role. But I don't know, these people are sort of in denial and they still just hold on. Yeah, so anyway, I can sort of feel it's going to be a few years until he retires. And then there's like the place I work at, it's most of the staff are getting on in age as well, so it's going to be quite a few people in the next few years retiring. Let me just say, in a small country town like this, you're going to have some real trouble finding replacements, especially for my role. They're going to have a real trouble finding replacements. I can sort of see as more and more people are going to retire, the place is just going to go into, it's going to be how do I put this politely, it's not going to look good. It's not going to be good for the business long term. And believe me, I have a whole life to live. I don't intend to let this take up any more of my time and energy. So believe me, I don't intend to go down with what looks like it might just be a sinking ship. It's sad to say, it really is sad to say, but unless that it seems to be the case, especially in regions such as this, small country towns, like the reason they're in decay, I understand so much better now compared to when I moved here. Like, it's an absolutely beautiful region I live in, but I understand so much more now, why young people choose to move away from regional areas, why people choose to go to the cities to study, get better work opportunities, all that. So I understand so much better. It is sad to say, but that's the honest truth here. So yeah, that's it. I needed that. At least I stayed calm, unlike this morning. But yeah, anyway, the way it looks, I probably won't have to be there much longer. And look, I'm not going to take any rash decisions. I'm not going to quit until I have something else secured. That was my plan anyway. But yeah, I think these are all signs that were put there just to show me that it's time to move on. Time to move on. I will feel sorry for some of my other co-workers that will still be there, having to essentially try their best to clean up the mess. But I don't know. I think it's a bit of a losing battle at this stage. So that's it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed. I will catch you all in the next video. Onwards and upwards.